Everyone thought her marriage was perfect. A loving husband, a safe home, a life worth envying. But one night, her Fitbit recorded every second of her murder, and it led police straight to the killer. Her name was Karen Phillips, 42 years old, school teacher, health nut. She wore her Fitbit like a second skin, tracking every step, heartbeat, calorie burned. It wasn't just a gadget, it was her daily diary, a silent witness to her life. On March 4th, 2018 at 6:28 p.m., Karen sent her last text to her best friend. Dinner's ready. Talk tomorrow. By 9:01 p.m., she was dead. Her husband, Daniel Phillips, called 911 at 9:23 p.m. His voice was shaking. My wife's been attacked. She's not breathing. Police arrived within minutes. Karen was found on the living room floor, face up, bruises around her neck. Daniel claimed he'd been out getting groceries. Said he came home to find the house broken into, furniture knocked over, front door unlocked. But something felt off. Detectives noticed the break-in looked staged. The mess was random, drawers open, but valuables untouched. And there was no forced entry. No footprints on the wet grass outside. Karen's phone was on the couch. Her Fitbit was still on her wrist, still recording. At first, police focused on Daniel's alibi. He swore he left home at 8:15 p.m. Security cameras from a nearby store showed him entering at 8:42 p.m. That gave him just enough time to drive there after leaving home. So on paper, it looked possible. But then the lead detective asked, "Has anyone checked the Fitbit data?" When tech analysts downloaded it, they found something chilling. Karen's Fitbit showed she was alive and moving until 9:19 p.m., for minutes before Daniel's 911 call, meaning she was killed while he was supposedly still out shopping. And there was more. Her heart rate spiked sharply at 9:17 p.m. Then, in just 90 seconds, it plummeted to zero. Experts said it matched the pattern of asphyxiation, a struggle, then sudden cardiac arrest. That was enough for detectives to bring Daniel back in. They confronted him with the timeline, but Daniel didn't flinch. "She must have been alive when I got home. Maybe the intruder was still here when I came in." But that theory collapsed in minutes. Forensics found no other DNA in the house. No fingerprints but theirs. And then came the biggest crack in the story. Karen's Fitbit also tracked steps. From 8:46 p.m. to 9:18 p.m., she walked 123 steps inside the house. If she was alone and Daniel was gone, why was she pacing? Detectives believed she was arguing with someone, likely Daniel. The grocery trip? Just an excuse to buy time and create an alibi. When confronted again, Daniel's mask began to slip. His voice hardened. He asked for a lawyer, but investigators weren't done. They pulled the store's parking lot camera. Daniel's car wasn't there until 8:42 p.m., meaning for nearly 30 minutes before. He was unaccounted for. Exactly the time window when Karen's steps and heart rate spikes were recorded. Friends painted a darker picture. Karen had been talking about divorce. She told one friend she felt watched by Daniel, that he had a temper, and she was scared of what he might do. Police suspected a fight turned deadly, but motive was enough. They needed proof Daniel had been in the house during those minutes, and they found it in a place no one expected. A neighbor's smart doorbell camera, 2 houses down, caught a faint figure walking past at 8:52 p.m. Same build as Daniel, same hoodie he wore to the store. The path from his driveway to the street and back. Detectives believed he left for the store later than he claimed, meaning he was still inside the house when Karen died. Daniel's calm demeanor cracked in court. The Fitbit data became the centerpiece of the case. Prosecutors argued, technology doesn't lie. Her last moments were recorded by the device on her wrist. The jury listened to every second of the Fitbit's data timeline, like it was a confession. But just when the verdict seemed certain, a major twist exploded in the courtroom. Karen's Fitbit had one more log entry, one police hadn't mentioned before. At 9:20 p.m., 1 minute after her heart stopped, there was a sudden movement reading, a single step. Prosecutors said it was Daniel moving her body, but the defense claimed it proved someone else could have been in the house. And then the defense dropped a bombshell. They revealed an unknown fingerprint found under Karen's wedding ring. Not Daniel's, not Karen's, and not in the police database. The courtroom froze. If it wasn't Daniel, who was it? We thought we had our killer. A jealous husband, a stage break-in, a Fitbit that recorded every second of the attack. But then, one fingerprint. A stranger's fingerprint, found under the victim's wedding ring. And suddenly, everything we thought we knew shattered, because if Daniel was a killer, how did an unidentified fingerprint end up under Karen's ring? Investigators went into overdrive. They scoured Karen's life, her phone, her emails, her social media. At first, nothing. Then, some days before her death, they found something. A private Facebook message from a name nobody recognized. Mark R. The message was short. "I saw you today. We need to talk. Urgent." Karen never replied, but police tracked the account. It was linked to an email that had no photo, no friends, no history. A ghost profile. They subpoenaed IP logs. It came back to a public Wi-Fi in a coffee shop 2 miles from Karen's school. And guess who used to work there? Daniel's cousin, Mark Reynolds. Detectives paid him a visit. Mark was 35, unemployed, a string of petty theft arrests. When asked about Karen, he hesitated and admitted, "Yes, I knew her. She helped tutor my kid once." But when they pressed him about the message, he denied sending it, said someone must have hacked him. Still, something didn't sit right, because Mark's fingerprints? They matched the print under Karen's wedding ring. Police were stunned. Why was Daniel's cousin's fingerprint there? The theory shifted. Maybe Daniel didn't act alone. Maybe this was a family cover-up. They brought Daniel back in, told him they had Mark's print. His face went pale. At first he said he had no idea. Then he cracked. Daniel confessed arguing with Karen that night, said she was planning to leave him. They yelled. She threatened to take half of everything. In his words, she wasn't herself. She was cruel. That's when he called Mark, said he needed help. What kind of help? Daniel wouldn't answer, but Mark did, and his version was darker. Mark claimed Daniel asked him to scare Karen, not kill her, just shake her up, make her back off in the divorce. Mark went to the house around 8:50 p.m. He slipped in through the unlocked back door. Karen was in the kitchen. He grabbed her from behind. She fought back, hard. In the struggle, her wedding ring twisted. His finger got caught under it. That's when the print was left. But then, Daniel walked in, saw them fighting, and, according to Mark, Daniel lost it. He wrapped his hands around Karen's neck. She went limp. The FitBit? It recorded every second of it. Mark says he froze. Didn't expect things to go that far. Daniel panicked, told Mark to make the place look robbed. They opened drawers, knocked over chairs. Then Daniel told Mark to leave. Minutes later, Daniel called 911. But here's where it gets messy. Mark insisted he didn't kill Karen. Daniel insisted he didn't kill Karen, and that Mark was lying to save himself. The only hard evidence? The FitBit timeline and the fingerprint. In court, prosecutors tore into both men. They argued Daniel had the motive, jealousy, control, rage. Mark had the opportunity, and his fingerprint was proof he touched her in her final moments. The jury didn't have to choose between them. Under state law, both could be guilty of the same murder if they acted together. After 12 days of testimony, the verdict came in. Guilty for both Daniel and Mark. Life in prison. No parole. Karen's FitBit became the silent witness that solved her case. It didn't just tell police when she died. It told them who was there. And it left no place for her killers to hide. But one mystery still lingers. Because that ghost Facebook account, it didn't just message Karen once. Police later found it had messaged 2 other women in the same town. And both women had connections to Daniel. Was Karen's murder the end of something? Or just part of a pattern no one saw coming? We may never know.